Was it awkward at all having the Chiefs in the facility, having their paint here, that kind of thing?
Well, as I was telling everybody, that, the Chiefs and the 49ers are my two favorite teams, other than the Raiders. So, hey, listen, they earned it, and that's why they're here.
That was Raiders owner Mark Davis on opening night. My next guest is the team president that he brought in to help lead his Raiders back to the big game and back to greatness. Raiders team president Sandra Douglas Morgan, good morning. So nice to meet you.
Good morning, Kay. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to talk to you. It is such an epic week. Talk to me about the energy shift that has happened in Vegas as the football world descends upon it.
Yeah, I couldn't help but laugh kind of seeing Mark's clip. But, last night was amazing. We had our opening press conference, and I'm also on the host committee for the Super Bowl. So that's been great, just seeing all the amazing things that's going on in the city. Really something for everyone of all ages, all demographics, any type of price point, and really seeing the long-term impact that the Super Bowl is going to have here in Las Vegas. But having our stadium open for opening night, which is very rare, it's my understanding hasn't really happened before, and just having people have access to the stadium that maybe typically haven't been able to go to a concert or a game. It was a really fun and high level energy night last night.
Usher anywhere over there practicing?
I didn't see him. I'm sure plenty of people were on the lookout, but I didn't have any. There were no Usher sightings last night.
It's amazing. So as a part of the host committee for Super Bowl 58, of course, it's in your backyard, a building in and out, a city in and out. Being there last night, very special. What else can we expect? Fans coming, fans of all kinds, all ages.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a Super Bowl experience that's going to be at Mandalay Bay, and that is something that is very family friendly, different activations for 40-yard dashes and just people being able to meet different players and having other events. There's going to be events throughout the valley as well. Like, for example, we'll have a press conference later on today to show the legacy grants to different nonprofits that are going to be given throughout Southern Nevada. So that really kind of affects the long-term impact. The host committee is having, media parties and different events at the F1 paddock. Goodness, there's events up and down, the Las Vegas Strip into the downtown area. So there's something for everyone. There's the NFL, 25th anniversary of its Soulful celebration. There's Taste of the NFL, just a nonstop kind of an amount of events. I think that anyone of all ages can really partake in and enjoy.
And I always think it's so fun. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm a Las Vegas local, right? I've grown up here. I've been here ever since I was 2 years old. And so just seeing so many people, not only, obviously come into our city because we welcome 40 million visitors a year, but even locals and residents being able to kind of attend these events and thinking honestly that we'd never have a Super Bowl because of, some of the concerns about gambling. And now people realizing that this town is much more than gambling. We're the entertainment capital of the world. And there's obviously fine dining, events, concerts, it's something again for everyone. So it's really I'm just proud to see our city kind of finally being embraced by so many.
I was there a couple of months ago for F1, and it was such a warm hug from Las Vegas, organized beautifully, glamour, glitz, stars, food, all coming together. So I can only imagine what the NFL is going to do, given the same opportunity to welcome everybody in. It seems like a lot. Like Vegas on a normal weekend is like excess, and that's what it's supposed to be. Do you have any advice for anybody coming, or like one thing that everybody has to do as they come to Vegas this week?
That's a good question. Gosh, I think that
restaurant. Now, Sandra, you're a local. I'd love a restaurant recommendation even.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm a local, so I go to the Strip when I have someone coming to visit, right? I would definitely go to Chinatown. It's on Spring Mountain. So it's not too far from the Strip. It's about 10 minutes away. And there's going to be restaurants up and down Spring Mountain and kind of Jones Boulevard. Those are all incredible. I love J Karaoke. It's a little splash of kind of Korean food, and you can have some karaoke in a locals environment. I love Korean food. I'm half Korean, so that's definitely a place I would push. And then Grits Cafe is actually in West Las Vegas. And that is, you'll have a chance to kind of be maybe 15 minutes from the Strip. It's in the historic West Side community of Las Vegas, and have some comfort food.
Now, it's all fun and games, but it takes so much work. You're part of that, even with the Raiders. You guys have this, there's more on you to make sure everything goes well. What, to you personally, as team president of the Raiders and being part of that host committee, what do you measure success by? What will be success for you when you finally breathe that sigh of relief, hopefully sometime Sunday?
Well, Mark has talked about, and even the commissioner talked about yesterday about his vision in bringing the Super Bowl here to Las Vegas and obviously making sure the Raiders were here first. So if the Raiders weren't here, if Allegiant Stadium, which is a world-class stadium, wasn't here, we wouldn't be able to host the Super Bowl. So we see this as our kind of coming out party, an opportunity to show all of the teams, because, every team hasn't played here yet. Every fan hasn't been here yet. A chance to kind of come into our home and see why we've consistently been at the top of the Voice of the Fan surveys and consistently been at the top of the Billboard box office scores, because we know how to treat our fans and our guests. And that's what I really want people to come back and think about, to think, hey, maybe I should go check out that concert in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, or maybe I should go check out that soccer event because we were treated well, hospitality was at its finest. And, whether it be our headquarters or our stadium, there's truly state-of-the-art facilities, and that's what we're really proud of. And ultimately, hopefully, all of this will get to a point where we can just win.
I love that. And just win, baby. I mean, that's a great answer. I've never been there. I cannot believe. I think it's the only state. I wanted to save it.
Oh, an invitation. We'll just.
When I was there for F1, I think there was a Raiders Packers game, and I was like, I should go to this. And I was like, no, I want the full Vegas right now. And then it'll just like rip the Band-Aid. And I'm sure I'll be going back and back because it's so incredible and there's so much to do. But you mentioned just win, baby. And we heard that bite from Mark. The Chiefs are in your building. Yeah, Mark seems okay with it, but I mean, there's a tale of a Raiders fan, construction worker, or no, a Chiefs fan, literally burying a Chiefs flag under the stadium. How do you reconcile having the Chiefs in the building?
I was going to say my connection's starting to weaken right now, but that story is not true about the fan that did that. I actually heard that someone actually went and grabbed it before it actually happened. So, look, good buzz, I think, for the Super Bowl. And, I guess to Mark's point, they earned it and they're here. Obviously, would we have preferred us be in it? Of course, I think any team would. But we're here. We're going to make sure we're good hosts and make sure that everyone that's at the stadium is going to have a good time, obviously in conjunction with the NFL and the host committee.
I like working with Mark Davis.
Oh, Mark's incredible. Mark's passionate. I mean, he lives, breathes silver and black, right? I mean, he's grown up in the organization. And so it's more than just, a business investment for him. This is his team. People have been at the team for decades. He knew with the move to Las Vegas that we would have to kind of reintroduce ourselves to a different market, a different community. And so his love and passion for the alumni and the people that really kind of put it all on the line to make sure we were at a point to move to Las Vegas, to make sure we were a successful franchise. That's why the history of the Raiders is so important to him. Our alumni is so important to him. And honestly, the people of the organization. It's all about players and people first. And to know that that's going to be the front of his mind and the fans with every decision he makes, it makes us all really, obviously buy in and support what we can do to make sure our team is successful and can grow.
You strike me as someone who could do whatever you want, like get a job, whatever that is. Now, back in 2022, you're at the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. You have a special moment. That's where Mark Davis made his sort of push to hire you as team president. At that point, you were on every major athletic board and commission in Las Vegas. You were doing your thing. What was it about Mark's, I guess maybe it's his passion, like you're talking about. What was it about this franchise that pushed you to go all in with the Raiders?
He actually made a comment. I don't think it was like a big push at that time, but I do remember being in Los Angeles and obviously I served in some public sector roles and were on some boards. And I just said, hey, Mark, thanks for bringing the team to Vegas. And I can't believe we're having the Super Bowl. This is great. We're going to kill it in a couple of years or something like that. And he said, Sandra, you're always telling me no. And I thought, okay, I didn't know how to take that. But his, point was he wanted me to be involved somehow in the organization. And I was just very flattered by that. He kind of said it in a joking way. And then, fast forward about a year or so. And he said he wanted to have a more serious conversation about, more kind of permanent role in the organization. And I was flattered. Again, this is my hometown. The Raiders are such an iconic brand. My husband's a former NFL player. So to know what an NFL team can do for the city, for its economy and for its growth, it was just, honestly, I can't say a dream come true because as a young girl, I never would have dreamt to even be in this position because I didn't have visibility to it. But, when we sat down and talked and I saw his passion, saw his love and him just really wanting to make sure this team was going to grow in Vegas, obviously the answer was going to be yes.
Well, how did you guys do it? How would you sum that up? Because I remember when it happened, I was on Good Morning Football and it's the move to Vegas and there's such a jolt and a change. It's not easy. And especially in sports, things just aren't very as progressive. It's hard change sometimes, but you've really done it so successfully. And I don't think it's talked about enough that it's really been embraced by this fan base, one that was so connected to where they were.
Yeah. And we want to make sure we are supportive of all fans. And this is regardless of where they're at. Obviously, the Raiders have such a huge fan base. They travel incredibly well. We see them at every stadium that we play in. And so we really want to make sure that we're connecting with everyone. Obviously we want to grow the local fan base, but Las Vegas is different. It's obviously growing. We're at about 2.5 million. So it's a very small market. And most of these people have moved to Las Vegas within the last 10 years. So we have to connect them, one, to our city, and then obviously to our team. But we want to make sure we have, continue to have roots in Southern California and obviously in the Bay Area and in, every single state in the US. We track all of that, and we want to make sure that we're engaging with customers and our fans where they are. But for Las Vegas, we did our first community impact report. It focuses on sustainability. It focuses on our dedication to the community and alumni, and having a good, strong, workforce where people that want to work for the Raiders, it's because they love to be Raiders. And I really think when people know what we're about and know what we're doing and why we're doing it, it's easy to be a Raider fan. We welcome everyone, regardless of race, creed, color, age. So, it's a great place to be a Raider. It's not for everyone, but for those that do it, we're going to do it with passion.
Can't wait to be there on Sunday, Sandra. I truly cannot wait. And all the little things you mentioned, community and sustainability and all of that. Like, that's another thing the NFL and the Raiders do really well this week that sometimes can go underscored. There's a lot of Walter Payton Men of the Year out there doing their thing. The Raiders, I'm sure, hosting community events to put some goodwill out there. Wounded Warrior Project has partnerships with the NFL. They're doing a lot of things to thank our service members for all of their work all season by giving them Super Bowl tickets. It is just a beautiful week of celebration. If we can talk a little football, your team presidency, you're in these rooms, you're making these decisions, you're Antonio Pierce. When you're around him, what is the energy like, and what makes you think that this is the right choice to lead this team to the promised land once more?
Right. When you see AP, what you see is what you get. This man is on 10 and incredibly positive and motivating, at all times. And he's, what I don't want, and I got to say this because I want to have his back, obviously, is that passion doesn't mean, he's thoughtful, right? He thinks and he's very critical, and he's critical in his thinking and analytical, and knows the team, knows what it means to be a Raider, knows what he wants it to look, sound, and feel like, and is very intentional in that decision-making process. And then on top of it all, he's just an incredible person and a great motivator. So I'm really happy for him. I'm glad that, we're kind of able to move forward. Obviously, I don't think anyone, wants an interim tag and to kind of have that midseason, but he took it and literally said, you know what, if I'm your guy, I want you to make that decision, and I don't want you to lose any sleep at night because I'm going to give 110%. And he does. On a more, on a different note, obviously he's rallied, the players. You've heard from Mark about the alumni and our stakeholders, but honestly for business operations, right? And that's where I'm really focused on. I manage over 250 business employees that handle corporate partnerships, sales, marketing, everything else. Within, I would say, 16 hours of him getting that head coach position, he went and talked to all the business operations employees and had them come together. And I remember saying, AP, we have the Giants. Like, I want you to focus on that in your team. And he was like, no, I want to do it. And everyone, that whole building, I'm talking like finance, HR, every single piece was like, you could hear a pin drop. So that's the type of person he is. He's a leader. And I'm really, really excited, not just for the offseason, but for the season coming up. He's incredible. And I'm glad he's leading our team.
Raiders Giants was quite a game as well. Last one for you, because I have to ask, you're sitting there at 13 in this year's draft. Do you see this team moving up to make a splash in what it seems to be, I haven't done all my research yet, a very quarterback-heavy draft class?
I'm going to leave that to our trusted general manager, Tom Telesco, who I have all the faith in the world.
I love Tom.
And I know Tom is going to be masterful at whatever the Raiders decide to do.
It's an amazing answer to a question. Good luck to Tom. Good luck to Antonio. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury didn't work out. Luke Getsy might be there. Maybe we'll have an answer by the end of Super Bowl week. But right now, it's all about celebrating Vegas, celebrating Allegiant Stadium, all of the hoopla and the hijinks and the gravitas that comes with that. I'm so happy to meet you, Sandra. And good luck. I hope it's a success by your measure.
Thanks, Kay. Happy to meet you as well. An open invitation to Allegiant Stadium.
I mean, I'll see you on Sunday. Sandra Douglas Morgan, everybody, team president for the Raiders.